What's going on, y'all? This is UtxJG the Don. Alongside, we have Ethos. Say what up, Ethos.
Yo, what's going on, everybody?
All right, and we're finally going to do, since Ethos took his sweet time, I know we had a lot of other things to watch, but we're finally done watching Snowfall. I know we're a little late on this one, but we wanted to get this review to you all proper. And actually, I haven't seen a lot of actual like season reviews on YouTube, so I hope that you all enjoy this. And if you are new and happen to stumble upon this video, please make sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment as to what you thought about this season, because season 5 was very interesting, to say the least. I've heard a lot of hate, and for obvious reasons, there were some turns that it was very, very questionable, I would say. Kind of didn't make sense as we were getting through the season, but I think towards the last like 5 or 6 episodes, I think that it kind of started getting a little bit back on track. But definitely, like in the first 3 episodes, especially episode 3 and 4 were probably the most questionable ones as far as the writing and the actual direction that they wanted to go in this season. But I definitely wanted to start with like more of a synopsis on what the entire season was about. This one definitely was more about the tension growing between Franklin and Louis, because they both had different ideas as to what they wanted to do with their lives. Franklin, was trying his best to get out of the game and go more legit, and Louis, she just wanted to be basically the cocaine boss. Like, she wanted to be the boss of it all. And we saw that tension just constantly build and build and build throughout this entire season, and then eventually just come to a halt where it looks like they're going to go to war between the families. And it's sad that, it's going to end up that way, but we'll see what's going to end up happening in season 6. Also, we saw Teddy come back, which was also very important, because Teddy basically just messed everything up. Teddy's a big asshole, bro. Teddy just be, he doing some really messed up stuff. But I think what was very important about Teddy coming back, besides what he was doing with Franklin, was the fact that, like, even Oso, who was, he ended up being more of like just a helper with the FBI, even though he was still, still kind of doing his own thing. Like, even Teddy was like kind of messing him over. And that was very important when, Oso actually found out, or eventually found out, that, Teddy was, bugging him and still, just keeping tabs on him, keeping an eye on him. So it kind of seemed like, Teddy didn't really trust Oso as well throughout the season. And again, it just took Oso a little bit to eventually, find out what was going on. So before we get into the specifics as to what happened, how did you feel overall about season 5? Did you like it, dislike it, hate it? How did you feel?
I enjoyed it. I think I kind of felt the same way. Like, when it was starting up, sorry, I was like in the middle of finishing that banana. I'm not gonna lie, when I guess when the season first started, I kind of felt like, I think maybe this is why it took me so long to finish watching it all, was because it starts off kind of on a kind of very kind of slow, and it's kind of picking off after the last season before that, and this one's kind of like Franklin's basically at the top of the world at this point, which seems to be like where all the marketing is pushing and stuff like that. Like, he's wearing a suit now, he's now, has his own legit companies and stuff, while he still has the drugs, but it focuses less on the drug, and the gang banging, and more of like I'm trying to become legitimate. And because of that, like, real estate's the key of that. So they're really pushing over this like downtown deal, like, throughout the beginning of it. Obviously, I think it starts to pick up right off the bat when his friend, I'm blanking on his name. What was the white kid's name?
I forgot his name.
I'm forgetting his name. Why am I forgetting his name right now?
Rob.
Yeah, Rob. Yeah.
Rob.
So it's interesting because the way the season begins is essentially is like we kind of already knew from the last season that Franklin's family had some like cracks. Like there was little cracks, but it wasn't anything too scary. But like obviously the end of last season where Louis and Jerome basically go like solo and they're just like, hey, we want to just do our own thing instead of falling in line. You know, that's when like kind of the most noticeable cracks started to appear because like everything would have been fine, everything was good while like they were doing a certain pattern. But then when Louis and Jerome decided that they wanted to, you know, kind of I guess see themselves as partners instead of like underneath Franklin, but like even to him and like kind of having their own stick, Franklin wasn't happy about that. So I think it kind of moved into season 5. And then like as it shows in the beginning with the NBA guy, the draft pick, he overdoses. And then that starts to have like a sort of like butterfly effect on the government now taking a more active approach on like cracking down on like hard drugs. And then, you know, that goes into with not Teddy. What was his name again? Rob. Yeah, Rob again, like, you know, the valley's being flung with a bunch of cocaine and shit right now. So, and that shows like even on the white side how like Rob, like it was really bad over there. And even like Rob's friend shoots somebody. And that basically causes a spiral where I think like I started to like it when like basically, unfortunately, he had to kill Rob because and then this kind of, you know, caused a sort of effect later on down the road, not only with him mentally, but like with everybody else who was still in the game left. So yeah, I kind of feel like I'm the same as you. I feel like I really wasn't I wasn't really feeling it that much. I thought it was like, all right, this is solid, but nothing too crazy until it got to the Iliad. When it got to the Iliad and they went on their when him and Oslo went on that little crazy ass adventure, that's when I was like, okay, now I'm liking it. I think, and then after that, it just kept getting crazier and crazier after that point. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely agree. I feel the exact same way. Yeah, the first 4 episodes, I was just kind of like, we're just kind of coasting. And like I said, episode 3, like the line, let's just get into it. Like the Lions episode, bro. This literally makes no sense. Like this was literally the last thing that I was expecting. Like there's no way that you're running away from somebody in the hood. You happen to break into you happen to break into a random house at night. And this white man has a tiger in his fucking backyard. That's just not accurate, bro. Like out of all the houses, as a matter of fact, that you break into, just to use the phone. Just keep they're trying to use the phone, bro.
I get the criticism of this season too, where I feel like they said that they were going to be wrapping up Snowfall with this next season 6. So for me, I kind of thought, I was like, okay, well, like what's the end game here? And now like we've finishing the season, you know, for a fact, you know what the end game is. You see it now, it's bright as day. But when we started, we were kind of like, okay, but what's like, obviously, is it just like Franklin getting out of the game? And like where does that leave everyone else in the game? Like all the other players, like Jerome and all the rest of them. Like what's their end games? But like I felt like even early on, and this is where I think the first part of it where I was like, okay, this seems kind of weird, is with like his friend Leon, where all of a sudden like my boy like was listening to Dr. Umar or something. Like he just got extremely woke, and like this like wasn't ever shown to us. It was like I've never seen Leon even have any semblance of this sort of thing at all, or any of this sort of philosophy at any point throughout the series. It's like this thing just happens to him overnight, and we never see it. And then it just, from the beginning of the new season, he's just like, man, my brothers and my sisters are in captivity, and the police are terrible and shit like that. And it's like it just felt inconsistent with who he was like throughout the show. Like I don't think he ever really cared for that throughout the show. And I get like you catch a conscious, like the way Jerome's consciousness and morality starts to kick in, it seems more natural than like Leon's just seems kind of like out of left field, where I think Jerome would have made more sense. But like yeah, Leon's felt like kind of like okay. But I liked how he ended up at the end of the entire season. But yeah, I think like just certain things like that, and not only that, with Louis, like Louis's actions, I think I actually went from loving Louis to like kind of despising her by the end of this season. Like stuff that Louis specifically does, it seems like a lot of the characters are just making decisions without really thinking of the repercussions of it, or they're just making them happen because the writing dictates that, hey, we got to wrap this up, so start, basically make shit happen basically by causing fuckery, or basically.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Yeah, Leon all of a sudden just picked up a book, and all of a sudden he was
picked up a book.
Yeah, it was literally that instant. Yeah. I was like, whoa, like so I totally understand what you mean by that. And yeah, I feel the same way about Louis too. Like Louis would just, as the season went on, she got extremely reckless.
Annoying. Yes.
Yeah, she got annoying and reckless. It's like I get it. Like I feel like her thirst for power just took over way too fast, and she ended up making a lot of irrational decisions. And that's literally like what the last episode is. Like, I really can't wait to see what's going to happen, because all hell's going to rain down on them. And it's like, I understand, because literally, and we're going to get into this, when Kane comes back into the picture, right? And, you know, in the first episode, we're like, who the hell is sending a hit out on everybody? Yeah, who is doing this? And then
that's
all
when
of a
people
sudden,
started to care. Yeah, that's when I started to care about the story. I was like, oh, who's this new player? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So when we're trying to figure out who the new player was, then we find out it's Kane. And, you know, he literally, like, he just on a pure revenge mission. It ain't nothing else besides that. He just like, yo, y'all killed my brother, so I'm retaliating. And this is what it is. Like, I knew what was going on when I was in the pen. I don't care what y'all are talking about. Like, it's on site. Like, I only know why he even came to try to, you know, squash stuff. But, you know, somehow Leon, he was like, yo, like, you know, like, you was my OG when you know, I was coming into the game, and then, you know, you went to the pen, and I still got respect for you, like, so we can squash this. And, you know, somehow he ended up, you know, trying to, you know, make amends. But then here comes Louis, right? She's like, screw it. You know, you were trying to, you sent the hit out on everybody. So I got the dude who's on the inside with the force, with the police, and we're gonna send a hit out on you. Like, it was just a dumb move. And it's like, again, you're just acting off of just pure rage, instead of trying to understand and let Leon handle it. Because Leon did eventually get that second meeting with Kane, and it was like, all right, like, I want to do business with you. I'm trying to break bread, so let's squash this shit. I know what happened. You know, your brother was acting reckless. I'm sorry that it happened. But we don't need to continue this bloodshed, this eye for an eye. I kill your brother, you kill my sister type stuff. So again, Louis just messed that all up, and then literally at the end, like, this man Franklin just goes into a rage, bro. And like, I think this is the angriest I've ever seen Franklin out of all these seasons.
He was on his Eren Yeager shit. He was definitely on his Eren Yeager shit. This was his like literal like flip. Like, the switch just flipped, and he just said, "I don't give a fuck anymore." So
I mean, $73 million would do that to you. That's a lot of money.
I you know, like, someone could argue and say like this is like showing the greed of Franklin, but I don't think Franklin's greedy. Like, I feel like this is very rational. Like, your entire, I guess, existence is threatened in like a snap of a finger. And I think like, and that on top of like the LSD made him paranoid as hell. I feel like this is very rational. I don't think it's like kind of crazy to say that like Franklin kind of just went like over the edge, like out of nowhere. I just feel like it fits exactly like the situation he was put into, where he was just like, I'm tired of this. And the drugs didn't do him no favors. It just kind of reinforced in his brain what he was like keeping in the back of his head. It kind of brought it forth, and then it kind of like doubled down. Cause it's not like Franklin was crazy. And I think the final season basically like proves to Franklin that, I was right. Like, everyone's going to betray you, and they're just setting you up, and you really can't trust nobody out here. And lo and behold, like, every single, like, that's what I thought was crazy. Like, if you think about it, all of his friends and all the people who are close to him are now like gone. They're either dead, they're gone, or they betrayed him, essentially. Like, he has no allies. And that's crazy that he had to use the two people that he did not trust, the people that he thought had shot at them. He's now utilizing him as his like only like, you know, shooters that he has right now.
Yeah, that's insane, right? You literally lost everybody. Like, and you know, even from a point like when his mom Sissy came back. When she came back, she initially, because you see what she got into. She wasn't there for the longest. She came back because of the baby, which we'll get on that. Like, I found Veronique to be one of the most like useless characters in this season. I didn't care about her at all. She really did.
She was never in there. Like, she was. I'm pretty sure she was not in the last season. She was just a brand. That's the thing. This season introduced a lot of brand new characters that had no history throughout the whole season, and they just disrupt. Like, they were just brought in because they like, we have to write these people in to cause an issue. Because like, was her name Veronica or Veronica?
Veronique.
Veronique. Yeah, Veronique wasn't in the previous, and then all of a sudden, the beginning of the season, I was like, who is this? And he's like, this is my girlfriend. I was like, what? And it's like, I feel like there was something that's missing between season 4 and season 5. That stuff happened, and just we as the viewer were never shown it, and now they just say, oh, you just have to accept these things have happened. Like the crash police guy, like I don't think he was in the previous. I think he was just a brand new person they brought in, right? And he
Buckley,
yeah, and he causes issues. So like, yeah, a lot of these, like, it seems like all the new people were just brought in, or the people that like were gone, now they're back in. They were just brought in because I guess they just felt like they were writing themselves into a wall, and they were just like, hey, just introduce these people so you can add chaos and like unpredictability to the plot, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, it's interesting how it ended up playing out, but yeah, like I wish that they would have given the people who they introduced more of a backstory. Like, I think the season 4 they should have tried to at least, introduce these people. It's just like, oh, all of a sudden, okay, Franklin's taking these trips. He knows how to fly a plane with, incredible accuracy. He's going place to place. Like, he has a girlfriend now and she's pregnant. It was just so many things. Like, it was just like a huge gap. Yeah, it was just a huge gap that we just missed. And I feel like it sped it up a little bit too much. And like you said, like, it just caused like it was chaos, but I feel like it was unnecessary chaos. Like, a lot of stuff didn't need to happen, but unfortunately with the people that did get introduced, it did happen. And like I said, the only person who in my mind was justified in the chaos that he caused was Kane, because that was a huge ripple, and ended up making the entire family like have different decisions on how they wanted to handle it, and then again just caused more tension between mainly Louis and Franklin at the end of the day. But Leon, like, especially like with his super wokeness, he ended up deciding at the end of the season, all right, I'm just about to dip. Like, like, okay, like the LSD literally opened everybody. It opened everybody's third eye. You see,
and that's kind of crazy, because like I think that's like the good part of the writing for this season is that Sully, like, literally, like, he was the person that was just like, I'm like, he's crazy, don't get me wrong, but the things he was talking about, even though he seemed crazy, he was like low-key kind of like a foreshadowing what was going to happen this whole season. Like the whole last season where he's talking about death, and in between how he said we're bonded by death, and now I'm supposed to be like celebrating new life, and this is like a new change. Like, and he brings up how the ego is ultimately the death of everyone, and all these things that he's like mentioning and just blurting about actually end up playing into the main themes of how all the characters' egos start to clash with each other, and they start to betray each other and the like. So yeah, I think it's crazy. I think the elephant in the room about this entire season, which I'm surprised they didn't, like, I feel like they didn't even need Kane. I feel like they had this great tool they could have just utilized, which is the plot point, which is like why his mom comes back and everything, is the KGB. Like, that is like kind of like I feel like we're now hitting definitely the crazy dramatic, like dramatized level of like out of the realism aspect. This could have totally happened for all I know. Like, the KGB could have been in the United States doing this, specifically in this like altercation with the CIA and stuff. But I felt like they could have easily had it where instead of Kane jumping everybody, the KGB could have been like more front and center and playing it. Because at first, like, they get introduced by the mom, and we're kind of like, okay, who are these? Like, I kind of felt that they were like KGB. They didn't before they said it. I was like, this has to be either like Cuba, but I know Cuba was like down with Russia at the time of this, so I was like, maybe this is like Russian forces or Russian KGB, even though she's like talking to this like Cuban dude. And then I was like, oh, okay. Then when I started seeing the white people, I was like, okay, I get it. This is the KGB. When they start bringing like the center and stuff, I was like, okay, yeah, this is straight up like spy ops. And I feel like it would have been cool to see more of that spy ops, like spy, anti-spy, and taking out each other's spies and stuff like that during the Cold War. I feel like that would have been cool to see more throughout this entire season, instead of like they kind of like are just, oh, we're just here for a scene or two and we don't really show up. But then like for the from like the wedding on, then all of a sudden they just literally flip the entire board, like in a nutshell, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah. So maybe we'll see more of that in season 6. Obviously gonna have to expand on that.
Crazy part, Teddy doesn't even know. I when I watched this, I realized at the end of this whole thing, Teddy has no idea that the KGB is actually hunting him right now. Like, he just knows somebody's wiping out basically somebody's like tracking him, but he just doesn't even know who it is. So I think that's kind of crazy, because like he knows Franklin's gonna try to kill him, but he doesn't even know that there's this other threat. He doesn't know what it is, but this other spy operation is basically trying to catch him.
Do you think that Teddy ultimately agreeing to supply Louis was more calculated on Teddy's end, or do you feel like he was just kind of forced into that situation?
It was calculated. I think when he got shot, he kind of, at that point, he lost faith in Franklin. I think that was what did it. When they got jumped, and granted, like, it wasn't even Teddy's fault. Like, yeah, like Franklin fucked up. He got too high up in the like, you know, about the buildings and stuff like that like he wasn't on the street, so he wasn't listening to what was going on. Like, how do you miss stuff about like Kane? How do you miss like, you know, not taking care of their family? Like that side of things, like he just missed because he was just so tunnel vision about, you know, reaching the top of the top. So like I feel like, yeah, I feel like that was what caused Teddy to do that. And then on top of that, and to pick Louis instead of him, because obviously it's like it's a new business partner, but you've sub through them vicariously through Franklin. You've already kind of worked with them, so you already know, you know, they have a good standard. So I do I think he did it to like purposely fuck over Franklin, like kind of, but I don't think he did it just to be malicious. I think he just did it from like a security standpoint, because he was mad at Franklin this whole season. He was like, why are you increasing your visibility? Why are you trying to buy big old like buildings downtown? You're increasing your visibility, your money's going to be more visible. The whole thing he taught Franklin throughout the entirety of the series has been how to hide your money, how to take it in off-course shots, and how to keep a low profile. That's what he always taught Franklin. And then Franklin basically starts to do the opposite this entire season. He's becoming more profile. He's trying to, you know, get clean money. He's trying to make these big buildings. He's trying to, you know, own all these, you know, buildings in LA. And then it's funny because the thing that Franklin does by buying all these buildings ends up hurting him in the end, because when he loses all his money, you know, they try to find out how many assets they have, and they don't. And the funny part is the violence that Franklin has caused in his own neighborhood has also directly impacted his own like potential wealth because of that. So kind of like a whole idea of like how like you damage your own neighborhood without even like realizing it.
It's interesting because like after all of this, you know, when Franklin was spending this entire season trying to go like fully legit, he gets upset at Louis, who still wants to be in the drug business, doing business with Teddy. So like I feel like it's justified from a sense that like, yeah, they're doing it behind your back, but I don't feel like it's justified at the same time, because if you're trying to go fully legit, then why do you even care? Like, let your family do that. So that was the part that I didn't really understand, but I think it was just purely like based off of like
need more time or something.
Yeah, no, I don't even feel like it just need more time. I just think really he just based his decision just purely off of you just went behind my back. I just think
like a loyalty thing. It was just that was what pissed
it was
him
like
off.
a loyalty thing. Like because you know as the season went on, he was trying to, you know, get the family back together again instead of just letting them do their own thing. And Leon was like, "No, I'm cool right here." And then Louis was really like, "Fuck you! Like, I want to do my own thing. I want to be the boss of my own shit." And of course, Jerome is gonna ride with her because, you know, that's his lady. So, and he don't really. I mean, you know, even from the
Jerome's my favorite character.
Yeah, he didn't want to be in the business anyway.
He didn't want to be none of it. He didn't want to from the very beginning. He didn't want to do none of this shit. Yeah, you said I left it for a reason, and he got dragged back in because his girl wanted to do it.
Yeah, but you know, that's what you do when, you know, you love somebody. So it's like I get that from his standpoint, but Jerome out of everybody has been constantly put in these situations, especially, you know, this season between Franklin and Louis, where he's just like, man, I don't even know what to do. Like, of course I'm gonna ride with Louis because, you know, that's my lady, but dang, like this is pretty messed up what's happening between y'all. Like, y'all just need to make up, you know, somehow, some way. And then Sissy, of course, like, you know, she was playing both sides throughout the entire season, and then literally at the end she like, yo, all right, I know how to find Teddy. Like, let's get it now, because now you've been fucked over and now this is about to affect me too. So
you have nothing to lose. You have literally nothing to lose at this point.
Yeah.
You know what they say? Nothing's worse than like having to fight someone who has nothing left to lose. And that's Franklin now. He has nothing. I mean, outside of obviously his kid, I think that's what Franklin's forgetting about is he feels like he's lost everything, but it's like even Teddy told him, he was just like, you think you've lost it all, but you've actually not. Like, you really don't know what losing it all means. You have not lost it all.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that's where the greed aspect is. Like, you know, he feels like if he lost his 7.9 million, he feels like that's losing it all for him. Where I guess that's where the greed aspect comes in.
Yeah. Let's pivot for a bit, because I want to talk about something that was definitely unanswered, and we have no clue if this will be answered in season 6. What happened to Peaches?
Oh, that's a good question. So I'm not gonna lie, I thought the plot point was gonna go that like Peaches didn't necessarily betray them, and that someone else had basically tortured him to get the information of like where they were. Like, I thought like either like Kane had manipulated him to get the information and they killed him. Like, I thought they were gonna find his body, like he was gonna be dead already. But then to find the twist out that he was like a junkie, and I was just like, I can't say it wasn't plausible, because there was throughout the whole season where, like, you know, he was acting sick and that sort of thing. And even what they said is that, like, Rob's death basically was what triggered him to betray them, which was like, he got terrified that, like, yo, if he killed Rob because he was a junkie, like, if he finds out I'm a junkie, he's gonna kill me too. So, because I know, like, a lot of important information too. So I guess I get why he did what he did, but yeah, it still felt very, like, left field. I just didn't, I don't know, I just felt so weird. And yeah, I think maybe this plays a role in season 6. Like, maybe it becomes some sort of plot point that's going to be utilized later, or maybe it was just like a 1-point note where, you know how it happens, right? Like, maybe the actor for him's contract signed up, or maybe he didn't want to get renewed for the final season or whatever it is, so they wrote him out of the show that way. Because if you think about it, we didn't see him once the entire season, right?
No,
you didn't see him once. Like, his actor was not in it, so maybe it was like his contract gave up last season, and they need to have, you know, write something in. So they just said, oh, let's say Peaches betrays them. And again, this is why I believe that, is because you don't see him at all. Like, he's never once shown. He's just referenced, or they try to look like play like duck duck goose trying to find him. So yeah, that's my take. My take, if I'm gonna believe that it's more the actor. His contract was up and they just wrote him out of the show, and that I don't think we're going to even hear about him anymore about season 6. I think they're just done with Peaches.
All right, so here's the thing. I was doing my research. I was doing my Googles.
Oh, okay.
The actual what was it? The actual person who plays Peaches, D-Ray, he doesn't even know what's going on with this character. He doesn't even know. So
what?
I'm really like,
how is this possible? Like, wait, they never called him in?
I don't know. I don't know if he'll find out later, but he said that he doesn't know what happened to Peaches. So I'm like, if you don't even know what happened to Peaches either, like,
does it sound like he's like misdirecting? Or like, is he playing coy, or does it seem legitimate? Like, he just doesn't know.
I don't know. I think he sounded genuine, like he really doesn't know. That's my take. I think he really doesn't know. So I found that interesting because I didn't know that, and I was like, because they never referenced him. Like, I thought it would have been like toward the end of the season, they would have found him again. I honestly thought when Jerome went looking for him and they found the house, I thought he just would have been there. That would have been the obvious thing, right? Yeah,
shot him, or like would have drone Jerome to be like, yo, like, run away and never come back or something. Like I thought that was gonna be what like climaxes Jerome's arc, because, like, you know, he's dealing with all this like mental inner thinking about, like, oh my god, like I'm a terrible person. Like, I've done a lot of evil shit in my life and shit like that. And, like, am I even doing what's right anymore and that type of shit? So, like, yeah, like, I think maybe he realizes he regressed as a human being. He's become who he used to be. So, you know, I thought Peaches was going to be the thing that, like, either he kills him and then that kind of, like, makes him, like, never, like, pass the Rubicon. He never comes back. He can never be a good person anymore, or, you know, that. But it seems like instead it kind of, like, made him reflect on himself and say, I'm going to just be a better person, I guess. Or I'm going to change I need to change as a person. I can't do this anymore. But he hasn't told Louis that. So I don't know if that's going to cause a problem in season 6 too, because Louis is still under the impression that he's ready to fight and die with her. So
yeah,
I don't know if that's going to, you know, play into that too. But yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, that's even more confusing now. So yeah, I have no clue.
Yeah, so I don't know if they're just going to leave that how it is. I hope they don't, because I hate those plot points where they're just like, bro, just tell us, like, find a way to just give us closure instead of just leaving stuff like super open like that. And so I feel like something should be left to the interpretation, but not Taiwan, something like right? This. Yeah,
he's in Taiwan. Yeah,
not something like this. Like, at least show where he is. So
do you think it's possible that the reason they did this was because Franklin's lost all his money, but Peaches has a good amount of his money, right? Like, wasn't that what also caused, like, the issue, right?
Yeah, that was the initial issue.
They cleaned them out.
Yes.
Right? Was that, like, they thought they were going to have, so originally he needed the money for the down payment, and then so he was going to utilize Louis and Jerome to pay, to, like, kind of 50-50 it. But because of their uncertainty about, they were like, oh, I don't know if we want to do this, we still want to do the drug thing. He was like, all right, well, I'll, you know, if you really not scared, I'll put even your stake in, I'll pay my own money for your stake, and you just pay it to me. And that stake, that, like, put him kind of in a yellow range to do that, because that wasn't what they were expecting to pay. So they put a lot of, basically they put all their eggs in a big basket, and then, you know, they didn't expect Peaches to do what he did. So when he did that, their cash reserves got hit, and then on top of that, then Teddy wiped them out for the rest of it. So yeah, maybe that's, now that I think about it.
Yeah, so if he really did, because again, they didn't fully confirm, like, they were still And even when Jerome like actually went looking for him, like they still did not get full confirmation that Peaches did it. They're still just assuming that Peaches did it because he was literally the only
white
one
dude
that
told
wasn't
him, right?
there.
That was the only thing that told him. The white dude said, yeah, he said he was leaving. He said he did it, but he knew what he did. He was gonna like die for it, so he like ran off to Taiwan or something. Now we don't know if this is true. This is just coming from some junkie, so I don't know if you can even like 100% believe what he said. But I mean, he had a gun to his head, so I wouldn't. I don't have any reason not to believe someone under that level of stress would lie to you.
Yeah.
But maybe like again, that could be a season 7. Like for all or season 6, that could be very well like the season 6 starts off and like Franklin's in Taiwan, like looking for Peaches. Like that could be to get to his money because then that would help him get some of that cash flow back. Like if he's truly desperate, I don't know if you'd go that far, but I mean he can fly now. He has a plane, so maybe that's like what they're like maybe tying to. Like maybe this thing ends up happening in Taiwan or somewhere outside the United States. Like that's where like the final clash happens.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with that. Another person who ended up, we saw what actually happened to this person was Avi, the gun dealer, the gun runner.
I was so sad, bro. I loved Avi, bro. That shit hurt, man.
Avi was cool. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Avi was cool. But yeah, they ended up raiding my man's crib, raided his gun place. He showed up, ended up getting tortured and ultimately killed. After he sort of kinda gave up something. It apparently wasn't important enough for them to leave him alive. So old boy got rid of him. It's sad, but RIP Avi ended up happening. So that's a major plot point there. I don't know how much impact this is going to have overall, but he was one of the major
he had all the connections.
Yeah, he had a ton of connections. Yeah. So I don't know how important they're going to make it in the overall scheme of things, but he was very important.
I know it definitely screws over Teddy the most because like that was like his connection to get the guns. And when Teddy went to try to visit him and realized it was on fire, he freaked out basically because he knew he was just like, oh man, like this is I might be completely like compromised again. I might have just gotten compromised again. So, but he doesn't know who it is. That's the problem. He just doesn't know who's the person that potentially compromised him. And of course, he doesn't want to go back to his masters, the CIA, and tell them, hey, so I might have fucked up again, just like last time, where instead of this black dude, about to leak our entire operation, now I got to deal with some threat I'm not even sure of where it's coming from. Exposing me further again with actual documentation. So yeah, I think it hurts. He's tied to everybody. That's the thing. Like Avi being dead, that means the KGB knows about Franklin. They know about Teddy, but it seems like they're focused on Teddy exclusively. They already know about Franklin, but they don't really care about, I guess, really doing anything with Franklin. They're just more focused on we got to get Teddy for some reason. I don't know what the vendetta is. I don't know if it's just. I'm assuming it just has to do with the South America, with the cartel, with the rebels and the freedom fighters. I think that the U.S. are like basically helping them overthrow governments that are communists at first. So. Maybe that's why. Maybe it's like to help the fight in South America, so they feel like they have to shut this operation down and they have to kill Teddy to do it. So maybe that's what's going on there. But yeah, that was sad, man. That was really sad.
Yeah.
But Teddy's screwed. Teddy is, I think, out of everybody. Like if I think about it, out of everybody who's like fucked, if I was gonna rate it, I would say Teddy is number 1, followed very closely by Franklin, followed then by Jerome and Louis. Followed by, at that point, Avi's dead. Gustavo, because Oslo's in prison right now.
Yeah, they ended up catching my boy after he tried to dip out. So after he found out that his house was bugged.
Because of the bugging, do you think that, because how Teddy was like, he asked Teddy to help him with something, or Teddy asked him to help him with something, and he was like, oh, I can't do this, because basically he was suspect of Teddy. He was like, I can't trust it, I gotta get out of here. Do you think Teddy knew basically the reason why he wasn't coming? Like he was like, oh, he probably found it out, so he basically snitched on it. He basically gave him up to the DA. Do you think like Teddy phoned that in, or do you think the DA this entire time has been still doing the case low key?
I think Teddy phoned it in. I want to blame Teddy for a lot of this stuff, especially since once Franklin found out Teddy's perch spot in the very beginning, and he was like, and then he finally told also like, hey, like Teddy's been spying on you too, right? Like he's been spying on both of us. I think that Teddy was behind that too. Honestly, do. Yeah.
So I don't know. Oslo, I feel sorry for his girl and the kids because now they have no clue where. Like no one knows where this man is now. So if Teddy did give him up, there's no way Oslo is going to be able to get out of prison or get out of this unless some other like thing flips him or something like that, or maybe they have Oslo again, like we don't know. If the CIA called it in and made the deal with the DEA to call him in, then maybe he's not. But if the DEA is unaware that this is a CIA operation still, then like maybe they'll cut a deal and catch Teddy. I don't know. There's a lot of weird possibilities that could happen now with just him getting arrested, or they could, for all we know, they could just lock him in jail and we never hear from Oslo again, which would really be fucked up.
Yeah. So we'll see what ends up happening with that, but obviously they have to put a conclusion on his situation as well. Another thing I want to touch on, and you briefly mentioned it already, was the wedding, aka the LSD episode with Scully. Now Scully, at the beginning of this season, like they were about to take him out, but then they ended up making a plan, making a plan in a trap to basically get the rat out of there. And so he ended up being in debt, which was very weird because as you remember, Scully had beef with pretty much everybody in the Saint family because of his daughter getting killed. So that was very important, seeing as, hey, like, your boy was trying to basically take over the reins, and he had, planned from the start to get rid of you, and so he could be the top dog. And then they ended up making a plan to basically, force him out, and then he ended up getting chopped up, which was pretty great. That boy Scully is absolutely insane. But the wedding episode though, when Scully was just hanging back, and this man spiked the freaking chocolate strawberries, bro. The chocolate strawberries that had everybody tripping.
That was funny. That was a funny episode, man.
It was definitely a funny episode. But what's more important about this was, and you mentioned it already, was Franklin's reflection. But the most important part about that, my man was yelling. But the phone call to Teddy though,
that fucked him. Yep, that's what
the phone call to Teddy when the truth was revealed, and he said that he wanted to kill Teddy.
That's crazy, bro. Someone imagine getting a random ass phone call like that, dog. I'd be like, hey, yo.
Yeah, like, how was anybody supposed to react to that? Like, okay, bro, I'll talk to you later, man.
I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, so
it was like when he got into the car with his girl, he was just stunned. He was just like, I think this man gonna kill me. Like,
right.
This feels like, wow, holy shit. Like, I mean, I feel like Franklin had to, I mean, not Franklin, I feel like Teddy had to know at some point before that, like, okay, obviously Franklin probably believes that I killed his dad, or that I was somehow associated, because he kept asking me about it. And like, if he pieces it together one day, eventually, like, yeah, he'll definitely try to kill me. So I have to, think about how I'm going to write him, get him out, basically, how I'm going to off him when the time comes. So I think Teddy's been thinking about this, but that kind of phone call kind of like made it set where he was like, okay, yeah, this is confirmed in my head. I have no choice. I've got to let him go now.
Yeah, for sure. So that it was pretty much became like it's so tight at this point. And like I say, anything pretty much after that episode, it makes total sense as why Teddy did what he did. He like, look, all right, look, you want to kill me, so let me go ahead and cripple you. You're not going to be able to do anything. And then literally is like, okay, like Franklin, fake tried to make amends when he made that final phone call.
Bro, oh my God. See, that's the thing. Somebody brought it up in the Twitter when I brought it up. I was justifying it, which I still justify. I still think it makes sense. But like, I know the biggest complaint is going to be, obviously, is how could Franklin be so stupid to walk away, to shake basically to bite the hand that fed him, and then expect that his money wasn't like, that he was going to get away with it. Because I was like, Franklin, you haven't been stupid this entire time. Like, you've been really smart, very calculated this entire time. You've been able to be successful throughout all these seasons before. Why would you think that your money was safe when literally the man that taught you how to hide your money, right, is Teddy? He taught you about how to hide your money through offshore bank accounts and stuff like that. Why did you think he would not be able to find your money? Or like, why didn't you just withdraw a boatload of money, at least $1 million or $2 million, or move them to brand new accounts before you like shook his hands? That's why I was like, I don't know. I feel like did he break it off with Teddy before or after the wedding? Was it after the wedding?
I believe it was after. Because I'm trying to remember. I may be wrong on that, but I thought it was after, because I know they had the meeting. Yeah, it was after the wedding, because it was episode 9, I believe, right, when they met up in the diner, and then he was like, look, like, we're done.
Right, and that's why I feel like it was
it makes sense why like Franklin didn't do it, because I feel like the LSD definitely fucked him up, because that fucked up his timetable, because Franklin was definitely thinking of a time to leave, and he was like, I got to make sure I plan this thing right. I've got to make sure, that was his whole thing about the last, what was it, like season or two. He was basically gathering intel enough that he could blackmail Teddy to let him go, basically like get the CIA off of him by like saying, I have all this evidence, all this proof, and I have all these files, and if you like kind of like a backup plan. So if you kill me, this stuff's gonna go, kind of like what happened with his dad. But I guess the LSD episode basically screwed him, because obviously he wasn't in his right mind when he did the things that he did, and it basically screwed up his entire, like, all his plans that he had. Hence, like, why he had to, like, I'm leaving the game, I have to, like, abruptly do everything now, instead of, like, when I wanted to, which would have taken a longer period of time. And this is where I think, like, those, like, what we were talking about, right? Like, this whole season feels like things just had to happen to speed things along, so they wouldn't just be stuck in a rut repeating the same stuff over and over. We just have to have bad shit happen now, which is what this whole season was.
Yeah, for sure. I think one other thing I want to touch on is the Buckley character. There's another character that just kind of came out of nowhere, but he ended up being important just for the sense of the whole Kane assassination attempt. I didn't really care about Buckley. Yeah. Like, Buckley was, Buckley was a reckless ass cop. Yeah. He was doing drugs. He was, trying to, flirt or whatever with Louis. Louis wasn't having it. And she just wanted to strictly was like, look, like, I got you on the force. Like, do my bidding. I'm going to break you off some. And this is, the type of relationship that we're going to keep. But Buckley just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. We didn't really know why. Then he gets tasked with assassinating Kane. He shoots him up. We thought he was dead. And then he finds out that, the boy that he brought with him ends up, dying. And then all of a sudden his entire arc just spirals out of control. Then we find out that, he's in a domestic situation with his baby mama. She wants him out. He can't see the kids. He's totally fucked up now. And then he comes back and, is trying to push all this stuff upon Louis. And Louis is like, man, whatever. Like, I don't care about none of this stuff. But it's just the fact that, like, just Buckley was just a super reckless ass cop. And I was just like, I don't like him at all, but it's like, I understand why he's here. Like, he needs to be here just for the simple fact that, like, Louis is trying to, have somebody on the inside. Cause, like, you always gotta have somebody on the inside of the force to watch your back in these situations. But I just didn't like Buckley as a character, and it was just like, I know that he was down bad, but I just didn't have any sympathy for him. But he ended up being that fortunate hitter that Louis needed towards the end, once Franklin got super upset and pulled the blicky out on Louis. Like, this man just got super freaking reckless. It was like, look, like, you need to do my bidding. Like, give me this money. You need to get back on my side. Like, stop trying this whole, I just want to be the king type
crazy
shit. And then Buckley pulled out the blicky, like, yeah, hey, you better stop that. Like,
yo, at that moment, bro, I swear, the look on Franklin's face where Buckley pulled the gun on him, I swear, Franklin was ready to lose it all at that moment. He was like, you know what, maybe I just say fuck it, I just let that shit bang, bro, and just see what happens. That was that was when, like, I felt like the switch was on. He just stopped caring at that point, because, like, his last lifeline basically turned their back on him, and he was just like, you know what, fuck it.
Yeah, pretty much, fuck it. So it is what it is with that. I don't know how the relationship is going to progress.
He's a new Peaches. I think he's a new Peaches.
Okay.
He's like the Peaches for Louis. Like, just a gun for hire, has experience, has some connections with, like, people who can shoot, obviously, like, cops and shit, ex-cops, has that connect. He's basically, will do whatever Louis wants, because effectively his life has been screwed. So he's just gonna obey Louis no matter what. So he's just gonna be a loyal lapdog, basically.
Yeah, because he literally has no choice. Like, he got fired from his cop job and got kicked out of his house. Yeah, he literally had nowhere to turn. Yeah, this man is down bad. So Louis did say that she was gonna put him on the payroll, get more money to be the hitter. So yeah, he's probably just gonna be there just to handle her shooting. So it's what it is on that one. Were there any other important characters that I might have missed or we might have missed?
Oslo, but I mean, we already explained that. Oslo basically gets locked up by the end of this. Like, that's just what it is at this point. Like, he's just, I'm locked up.
And then of course we gotta We gotta
Sissy.
mention the most infamous scene with Jerome,
Oh,
right?
Jerome is the GOAT this whole season.
Yeah, Jerome is dope, bro.
That's my favorite character. If they kill him, I'm gonna be sick.
Teach your man how to squabble.
Teach your man how to squabble.
That's hilarious, bro. I see
Snowfall
so many
has
people
some of
like,
the best
they're
memes, bro.
like, where was this from? I'm
From,
like, man,
yeah,
y'all missed it, bro.
Snowfall. Y'all sleeping on Snowfall.
Y'all missed it, bro.
That whole series has like some of the greatest meme potential, but like a lot of people have been sleeping on it. So it's like, hey,
Big
it is what it is.
Big facts. Yeah. And then Teddy's new old love interest, didn't care about her.
That
but
came out of nowhere, left field, like another character that just appeared in the season, hasn't been referenced before. Now she appears. I'm glad her ass got kidnapped though.
Yeah, nah, she's being reckless with her her little horny self. I was
her
like, what are you
down
doing?
Bad, horny.
I was like, this man is drugged up.
I'm glad. I'm glad that that Teddy knows that it's his fault why she got kidnapped too.
Yeah.
He went on that radio and that screwed him.
Yeah, she got caught. So we'll see what ends up happening with her. But yeah, I don't
think she's gonna die?
Nah, I don't think she's gonna die.
So I guess to finish this off, you want to do predictions on season 6?
Yeah, I think with
what do you
I
think?
think with
so who's gonna live? Let's do this because it'll be a good point for when we do the next video. Who do you think is gonna walk away, and who do you think is gonna get clapped? So these are the people I'll tell you. So the main people right now is Franklin, Teddy, Oslo, Sissy, Jerome, Louis, Leon, Veronica, which is his girlfriend, and Teddy's girl. And the KGB agent, I don't think they really matter. Their names don't matter, but you know, the KGB guy, the Cuba guy.
I think that Jerome is going to survive. Honestly, I think Louis might get. I think she might get shot. I don't think she's going to get clapped.
I think she's going to die because she already got shot. And I think that's like kind of the you're already 1 foot in the grave type of trope. Like you already got shot once and you barely dodged death the second time. Death isn't going to miss you this time.
That is a good point. She did get shot already. So.
I think Louis just done so much fucked up shit this season that was so unnecessary that could have just been avoided. And like stuff that just from a moral, like a loyalty and moral standpoint wasn't good to do. And she just did it anyways. I feel like she's kind of become irredeemable at this point and that they're going to kill her. Someone's going to kill her. I don't know who's going to be the one to kill her. I don't think Franklin's going to kill her. I think someone. Oh, see, that's the thing, man. Because obviously, whoever kills her, bro, Jerome is going to die. He's going to die killing that person.
Well, I ain't messing around B. Buckley if not. Well, actually, no, they're setting it up for Kane to do it. Kane's going to retaliate harshly.
Oh, yeah, right. Because Kane, oh, man, that hospital scene where he told him and Franklin and how angry he looked. Yeah. Okay, I take it back. Yeah. Kane's going to be the one to kill him. Like, maybe he'll be in a wheelchair, right? Because of the spine injury. But, like, Kane will be the one to kill Louis, I think.
Yeah, Kane might kill Louis and then Jerome might kill Kane. Right after that, Yeah, and then maybe Jerome will find out that Franklin basically sicked Kane on her, and so then Jerome will maybe lose his mind and try to kill Franklin or something like that. That's gonna be devastating. Jerome and Franklin have to kill each other. That's gonna be some really sad shit, man. I don't want to see that. Yeah,
I really don't want to see that. I hope the ending is involving between Teddy and Franklin. I hope what I hope happens is I hope Franklin straight up Aaron Yeager's this shit. Straight up, like, he's already shown it, but I'm just saying just goes full on Aaron Yeager rumbling levels of just like for the last season and just says, fuck it, I don't give a fuck about none of this shit. I'm killing everybody, all these motherfuckers. And I hope he finds Teddy, claps him, kills him. But I feel like Franklin's not going to make this out of alive. I feel like he's just done, I feel like with the girlfriend, with the pregnant girl, I have a strong feeling he's like going to get his revenge, he's going to kill somebody. Well, you know, they say dig 2 graves. I think he's going to end up not being able to make it back. Like he's going to die or someone's going to shoot him. I don't know. Teddy's dead. If Teddy lives this, it's racism. There's no way Teddy gets out of this alive. I refuse to believe Teddy's going to get out of this alive. Teddy needs to fucking die. I want Teddy dead.
Reckless. Teddy's reckless. Yeah,
Teddy needs to die, in my opinion. Franklin, unfortunately, I would love to see him somewhat live, like kind of like maybe he loses something or like loses like maybe a limb or something like that, or maybe he loses his eye, but maybe he lives. But I have a feeling Franklin's gonna die. Teddy better die. Oslo, I think, is gonna live. I think Oslo, he's been to himself. He's like, I'm my own business. I'm just trying to get enough for my family and shit and get out of this. I think Oslo's gonna get out of this okay. Sissy, I feel like she'll be a casualty of war. I feel like someone will accidentally shoot her. And like
that's what I was thinking too. Like, cause I mean, she's halfway protected, so I don't think that anything super bad is gonna happen to her unless she actively puts herself in harm's way.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think she might end up
Might
just
be
being
okay.
a casualty. Yeah, just in the wrong place where
Jerome,
she shouldn't have been.
I pray he doesn't die, but oh
I don't
man,
think
if they
Jerome's
really,
gonna die.
yeah, I hope they don't. If they're trying to devastate me, they'll kill Jerome, and I'll really be upset. But I think he'll be okay. Louis, I think this is gonna be like a Hamlet level of tragedy. Like a lot of people are gonna get clapped by the end of this. I think Louis is dead. Leon, I think Leon's gonna live this. I don't think Leon's gonna die. I think
he
Leon,
gonna end up getting away. I think he gonna have a happy ending. He gonna get away with Wanda.
I think he's gonna be the one happy ending of the entire series. I feel like everyone else is gonna have a tragedy, but like I think Leon's gonna like see all the violence and say like I'm never coming back to America again and live in like Europe or Africa or something. He just lives there for the rest of his life with Wanda.
Yeah, I forgot where he said he wanted to go. I think it was Africa, maybe.
Yeah, he's headed to Africa right now. They were talking about the Vietnamese to talk about to the north to Viet Cong. So maybe there's a plot twist there, like somewhere in Asia. But yeah, I feel like he's gonna be in Africa. He's just gonna stay in Africa and never come back. Because I feel like that too. Because like when he was in the hood, when he gave the look at like the hood before he left, like his block, it was kind of interesting to see how he looked out and he saw like everybody had basically, I don't know, maybe he had that moment of like, damn, my own people don't care anymore, or they don't care about what happens to them. So he kind of was like, at that moment, he just mentally was like, all right, I gotta let it all go and let them go too, because they're just lost. That's what it felt like to me. So
Okay.
yeah, I think Leon's okay. Interesting. Okay, here's the wild card. Franklin's girlfriend. Now,
Veronique.
I thought, Veronique, I'm not gonna lie, there was some things she was doing in the first 4 episodes where I thought she was like a spy or something, or she was like setting him up. Like I don't know why, but I thought at one moment when she brought it up, I thought she faked the pregnancy, that she wasn't actually pregnant. She just lied and made it up to like trap Franklin or to like trick him. And then she was manipulating him, and she was like either like a plant, like with either like, because she was very like, very smart, had a law degree, very intelligent. Not saying that someone can't be this by default, but I'm just saying like all these traits seem to associate to someone who's like very high level, good at manipulating Franklin into doing and what she believes is right. Like how she basically had him, basically like, you have to cut this stuff off if you want to be with me, and da 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 da. I thought at one point in the season that it was going to be revealed that she was a spy or something for, I don't know who, but somebody else. But it turns out that wasn't true. That's her man. She gonna stand by him.
Yeah, she also randomly, and we didn't mention it, like Veronique pulling up by herself to talk to Kane.
Yeah, that was very
I was
stupid.
like, okay.
I was like, okay, that was weird. Yeah.
Yeah,
but I
like,
get why,
what you want right now? Yeah, I mean, she briefly talked about her past, like, how her and her mama were like scammers back in the day. And she knows about this life. So I mean, it could, they could have been very well. Like I don't think that what you said is too far fetched about the possible points where she may have plotted against Franklin. I don't know if she's 100% trustable, and I think.
So you think it? Okay, interesting.
I think she's gonna run away. I think she is pregnant. I think she's gonna run away for good.
Do you think?
I think Franklin's gonna go into a rage.
How do you think she's good? Because she did it already, right? Like she did it the first time, right? Where she walked away. Because I'm not okay. Yeah, that was when I thought she betrayed him. Was when he came in and she said she'd be home. She wasn't home, and there was a letter. I was like, oh, I've seen this before. That letter is gonna say I betrayed. All his money's missing and shit like that. I was like, because I thought she was a scammer. Yeah. I thought she was scamming him. That like the baby wasn't real, and that she basically took all his like a bunch of his money. I thought she was gonna be the one to do it to him, not Teddy. That could be yo. Okay, no. Now that's not possible. I was gonna say that would have been a crazy plot twist for the next season if like, the show conditions us to believing that Teddy did it, but Teddy was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. And you find out that it was actually his girlfriend that took the money and framed it on Freddie the entire time. That would have been some crazy shit. But we know for a fact Teddy has basically said that it was him. Like he stated to his boss that he had $73 million of assets, which is basically Franklin's assets. We know for a fact it's Freddie. It's Teddy. We know it wasn't her. But yeah, I think it would be too devastating for them to kill her, and that means the kid dies too. I feel like that would just be too much. I feel like the kid needs to live on and kind of like grows up to hear about his father, but not really know like that he was just like, maybe the stories of him, but just never get to see his son.
Yeah. So I think that's more logical. Like she's just gonna run away and just be a single mom and and try to figure it out. And apparently
think,
she can't survive, so I don't think that she'll be struggling.
Do you think she'll do this at the beginning of the season because she's not aware of what Franklin's done at the season finale, right? Like Franklin straight up pulls up and just murder. Like I've never seen Franklin, like I've seen him do it before. Like, he's always been hesitant to kill people like that, but like he straight up pulled up on that one spot with the two guys regarding it, and he was just, played in and said, oh yeah, guys, yeah, they wanted me, and he just shot them, and like straight up, like he didn't hesitate or nothing, like straight up perfect accuracy, shot them both in the head. Like that was like, I was like, oh god, this man's different. Like I've never seen him this like focused, especially when it comes to killing, like not caring about anybody he shoots at now.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like that when she finds out that Franklin did all that, that's going to be what makes her like leave him permanently, like that he's like too far gone? Or do you think
it's going to happen in the first 3 episodes? It's going to happen in the first 3 episodes.
And you think that's what makes him double down and makes him lose his mind even further? And so he just goes all in.
I don't think they're going to prolong that, because she's been saying in the beginning, like, I don't like this life.
Right.
And you need to fully leave it alone. And I know that was the main motivator for him, and that's why she was brought into the whole situation in the first place. And then the baby was just icing on top. So I think when she finds out about this, it's gonna be like 100% inexcusable. Like she was already at the point, like once the Kane stuff started, she was like totally done at that point.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So who shoots who?
That's a very good question.
Matt, or who do you think dies first out of the main like primary cast? Who do you think dies first?
I know they're gonna add Teddy out to the end. So Teddy and Franklin. I think that the more logical thing for me would be like if Louis is gonna go, she's gonna go like early. I think they're gonna get her out of here. So I think she might be the first like major casualty. Yeah, and I think that Jerome is gonna be holding that for the rest of the season until we get to the end.
Because you already seen how upset he was when she got shot. So I can't only fathom how he's gonna like straight up transform as a like, because it seems like he's already like regressed as a person, he feels. So I feel like that's gonna be the tipping point for him. Like Louis dying is gonna be what makes him straight up like not give a fuck and probably kill Franklin.
Yeah, I think she's gonna be the first casualty, and then it's gonna spiral from Jerome, and then the whole Franklin and Teddy situation is gonna go to the very end. So that's what I think. And then Sissy, I think she's still gonna be struggling, even though she seems to be fully down. Like she's not fully out.
You're not about that life.
The KGB situation, So they're gonna find a way to bring that in there and make
that. Do you think the KGB is gonna betray them? Like, do you think like they're gonna try to kill Franklin and Sissy? Do you think they do that, or do you think they don't care about them?
I don't know.
Or betray them at all?
I don't know. It's weird because obviously, like they wanted intel on Franklin, and Sissy was like, I will do it, but only to a point. Like I was just like, it didn't make much sense because it's like either you're in or you're out. So it's like, what were you really trying to do? Like obviously, like this is your son, and you don't want him to die, but you agreed to do this. So why? Like you should have just said no. So it has to be something else that they have. I don't think that the KGB are gonna fully go after Franklin and Sissy to the point that they're gonna kill them. I think that Teddy is a still public enemy number one in this situation, and Franklin's just he's just a subsidiary at this point, just because he was working in cahoots with Teddy for so long. So I think that's probably how they're going to play it out. They might at the very least bit arrest them, but I don't think they're going to kill them.
Makes sense.
So we'll see what happens with that. But I think we're all in agreement that like Louis is probably like most likely going to go.
First one. Yeah, that's our bet. You and me both. I think we both agree. Louis is gonna probably be the first one that gets clapped. Yeah, like Louis, of the major characters. I'd be surprised if someone else.
Louis first one going. Like I said, if Jerome goes, it's gonna be a shootout between him and Kane. And then if Jerome ends up killing Kane, then I think that he's going to take that increased trauma and then place it on Franklin and Sissy at that point.
Or Kane's gonna tell him that Franklin told him. Or like he'll figure out who told you that and say Franklin did.
Exactly before he does. So that's how I see it.
It'll be kind of interesting if they flip it, like if they just like to subvert expectations, Jerome dies and Louis left alive. I don't think that would work, but I could totally see it. Maybe not. I don't see it. I could see it the way that we're describing it, but maybe if they flip that. But that I feel like it just wouldn't be as compelling to see Louis on her own compared to Jerome. I feel like Jerome's been kind of set up to basically be this type of person or this final like solo wild card that just says, I don't care, you know, because he's just gonna blame everybody. Like obviously he'll be mad at Franklin, but I think like he just wouldn't give a fuck at that point. And obviously Sissy would try to calm him down, but I don't think it would matter at that point. I think Jerome just wouldn't give a fuck.
Yeah,
like I'm gonna kill him.
Yeah.
Oh, that could be how Sissy dies.
Because of
because Jerome's like obsessed. Like Jerome's like, I'm going to kill your son, and obviously Sissy would not let that happen, so she would kill her own brother before
so she would step in. Yeah, either step in or or
maybe shoot him in his back when he's not looking or something like that. Like
that,
you're not gonna shoot me. I'm gonna kill your son. Yeah, and then that lets Franklin live long enough to go after Teddy.
Damn.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to see that.
Oh, this is screwed.
That sounds logical. Yeah, that sounds.
It's crazy that we just know for a fact the only person that's gonna make this out too is honestly is Oslo. I think Oslo's the only like 100%. Yeah, there's no way he's dead. Like he's okay. He's gonna be okay for the rest of this entire series because the being arrested.
Yeah, I don't see him just jumping back into the fray, especially how it ended for him in this season. I don't see him just immediately jumping back and want some type of justice unless like.
Does he see his family again? Do you think, or do you think he's just gonna rot in prison for the rest of his life?
No, I think he'll see his family. I think they'll find a way to see his family. I don't think they're just going to just run away and just stay gone. I think they'll find a way because I don't think that also has enough for them to put him in just complete solitary. Like he knows enough to be important as far as Teddy and Franklin are concerned, but I don't think that he's to the point that like he's a danger to society that they would keep him in full solitary and not let him see anybody. So I mean, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, like I mean, if he does get out, I don't think that Gustavo or also I don't think that he has enough motivation to fully go after Teddy at this point.
No.
I'm not
if he touches if the family gets touched though, like if his girl or his kids, then he's gonna 100% he's gonna like team up with Franklin and kill this man Teddy.
Yeah, but he doesn't have enough motivation because they also tried to try to bolster that relationship in this season when they were in the regular hoods in Mexico hood. Yeah,
because that's what I thought was gonna happen. I thought like before everything went to shit, I really thought that like Franklin was gonna convince Oslo to betray Teddy to like help him get out of the game, be like, hey yo, let's just both kill him. Like I thought that was what was gonna happen by the season finale, but yeah, that didn't happen. So I agree with you. I thought that whole little like them camaraderie, like literally like y'all were ready to die together, like and he saves your life and you saved his. So at that point, I would have been blood brothers with this man and been like, yo, no secrets between none of us. Like, and obviously Teddy's the third man at that point. Like, I think even Teddy kind of felt like he was going to get betrayed by them too, because, he finds out they go on this little adventure by themselves and that they almost died and then they bonded together and then, they got closer to each other, invites him to the wedding. Yeah. At that point, I wouldn't trust Oslo either. I would bug him too at that point. Cause I think, okay, maybe he's colluding with Franklin at this point. Who knows?
So Teddy knows. I mean, he's pretty paranoid, but he's smart. He's smart. He knows about that. So yeah, we'll see. That's those are our predictions for season 6. But let's go back to the score for season 5. What would you give season 5 of Snowfall?
So, okay. I would say it would have been lower, but I think the final 3 episodes boosted it up a lot, and the season finale really boosted it up there for me as being really fun and a great watch and made it worth it. So I'd give it an 8.5 right now.
Okay. All right.
I give it an 8.5.
Solid. I'm going to give it a 7.5. And I think this is basically this due to the plot points that they just did not hit. And then that Lions episode just really pissed me off. So
no, you're right. I give it an 8. Like you just remind me of the plot points and shit that I didn't like. Yeah, I take it back. I give it an 8.
The plot points that we discussed, I was just kind of like it could have been so much better. I just didn't like the way that they were kind of taking a lot of these situations. So I mean, maybe they'll get answered in season 6. We're not sure yet, but some of these plot points just made little to no sense, and we can tell like, unfortunately, like RP John Singleton. We could tell like what's been happening without him. Yeah. The writers are just, and unfortunately, like they're predicting that season 6 is going to be more of like a Game of Thrones situation, and I really hope it doesn't end up like that.
I could see it with like the way that this season's come out. I could totally see that happening.
Yeah. So I really hope because I like I said, I didn't watch Game of Thrones. I was living through y'all. y'all were talking about how bad it was, so I don't want this this last
like
season to be tarnished. Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie though.
Tarnished.
If I was gonna compare it, I would say that this season felt like the last season of Game of Thrones. So to consider that there's another season after this, maybe it won't be that bad because they still have another season. But like if this is how it would have ended, yeah, like what you watched, imagine like if what you watched right now, this was the end of the series. That's how people felt about Game of Thrones. So how you're feeling right now is how people felt about finishing Game of Thrones.
No, okay, yeah, I would have been pissed.
Yeah,
I would've been pissed.
There you go. Yep, there you go.
I'm like, they got lions in this shit. Like,
yeah, shit just happening for no damn reason. Plot points that were brought up literally seasons ago, just being just left on the floor, not concluded with. Yeah, stuff like that, like the peach shit. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll definitely see.
Okay. So yeah, so that's our final score. Ethos, well, he dropped it down to an 8, and I gave it a 7.
Like a 7.8. 7.8. You want to give it a 7.8?
Yeah. We'll be in the middle. Yeah,
that's the GI score. 7.8. There you go.
GI score.
You put on your accolade trailer.
Yep. Exactly. So there you go. That's our review for Snowfall season 5. Do we know when season 6 begins? Did they announce it yet?
To be announced. I don't see any like.
Okay. So we'll see. We'll definitely
next year. Probably looking at how long has it been between 5 and how long did 5 take? 5 took a while, right?
It was like from February to April, I think. So like 2 months, I believe.
Season 4 happened 2021. Season 5 happened 2022. So yeah, 2023 probably. My guess is Q1 or Q2 of 2023. That's when we'll get the final season.
Okay. All right. So we'll check back in once we get to that, and for sure, we got to make it a thing to recap the entire series once season 6 ends. So that'll be fun. But if you enjoyed this thorough breakdown, we were talking for like over an hour. That's how passionate we were about Snowfall. Make sure that you like the video, subscribe. If you really want to support the Gaming Illuminati community, please consider pledging to our Patreon. If you pledge to the $10 tier, you actually get access to our Discord. A lot of people have been saying that it's worth the money. We actually have some giveaways that we just did. We just did a giveaway for Zavi, so shout out to them for actually allowing us to do some giveaways like this. We care about the community a lot. I want to get back to y'all a lot more this year, so we want to do more stuff like that. So again, it's only a $10 fee. It's a one-time fee if you want to get access to our Discord, and we're trying to pump out more and more videos on the GI channel. So we're going to be coming right back a little bit later with the Atlanta review with the same crew here. So be expecting that as well. We're going to break that down. What happened throughout the entire season. What was that, season 3, right? I think it was season 3 of Atlanta. Yeah, season 3 of Atlanta.
Yeah, season 3.
So we'll break that down as well. So be expecting that on a separate video. But other than that, we will see you all next time.